Hi friends, today in the demo we will see how we can use the MongoDB, which is a Cosmos MongoDB, to create a Copilot implementation or how to do a RAG application by using the MongoDB. So in this concept, we have to first set up the environment where you'll be using the Azure account and VS Code to write the Python code and create a MongoDB in vCore. See, in RU based approach in Mongo, Cosmos Mongo, we don't have a facility to store the vector data. When you do it via the vCore, we can store the vector data. So my previous implementation where I used Azure Cognitive Search to showcase that how the data can be stored and retrieved and searched. Here we are not using the Azure Search. We'll be using MongoDB vCore to store the data. Then we'll search the data using the Python code itself. Then we need to install OpenAI lib file in the VS Code. Then we need the Azure Data Studio to view the data in the MongoDB. So what are all Azure services we have to create? One, we have to create the Mongo DB using the Azure Cosmos. So vCore, what you have to select it, and then another one is OpenAI. And within the OpenAI, you have to have two services deployed. One is GBD 4.0 mini, another one is text embedding ADA 002. So these two are mandatorily required, plus we need these two resources. Right, so this is the view of Azure Data Studio, how the data will looks like in Azure Data Studio. Since you cannot create any database or document directly within the vCore, you can connect it to the Azure Data Studio and view the data. When you install initially the Azure Data Studio, you won't be seeing an option to select MongoDB. So basically you have to connect to your Azure account, then it will install the required library files within your Azure Data Studio. Then you will be able to connect it by providing the connection string. So as you can see here, I have a connection to a MongoDB. Then there's a document which is a database. Then I had a collection. So when I process the data will represents in a vector format. So I'm not covering the basic in this since it's a advanced one what we are recording today. So the basic one you can go through my other videos as well. So what we do in this particular Python code, so we have a PDF file which will be extracted and processed in the Python code which we have written it. So what it does initially, it will extract the text from the PDF file and generate the embeddings. To generate the embedding, we will be using Azure OpenAI. So generate the embedding for given text using the Azure OpenAI. So once the embedding or the vector has been generated, so we'll store the embedding into the MongoDB. And to search operation, which is also performed within the same Python code, to search the document, we'll be querying the document in MongoDB using the text search, and it will retrieve the data from the MongoDB vCore. So now let us jump on to the code to see that how it functions. So before jumping on to the code, so I wanted to show you that the Azure Data Studio here is a connection to the Mongo, and when you try to refresh this, right, so you are not able to see any database. So the database and collection will be created via the Python code. So let us jump onto the Python code and then we process the request. Then we'll come back and see that there's a database would have been created, plus there would have been a collection which consisting of vector data. So now we are on our VS code. So I have written a two file here. One is env, another one is a py file. The py file is a main processing file, whereas example.env is something where you are holding all the keys, right? And this is a text talk what we are using for today in our demo. So this is a very basic coding which has been done on this. So we are not using any advanced Mongo vCore indexing pattern. So we use the basic indexing pattern in this code, and you can see that here is the document which get embedded and stored in the MongoDB database. So when I look onto the my code, so you can see that I have imported a Mongo client and the PDF reader, and I'll be connecting to the OpenAI as well. And here is something environment variable I'm trying to read it from the example.env file. So here all the reading happens, then we read the file path for the further processing. So this is something, a simple index which we are trying to create, and then there is a connection which we are trying to establish, or the key which we are trying to extract it for the OpenAI. So I have defined a function which basically reads the file which using the PDF reader, and then it embeds the text. That embedding text is a different function. So in that function, I'll be embedding using the ADA model. And once the embedding is done, I will return the back the content, and it will be get stored using this piece of code, right? Then we perform the query on the document, and which will be processed and extract the content from it. So there is a main function where I'll be subdividing into the two. One is embedding the data, another one is storing the data. Then this part basically it sends the data for querying purpose. So we'll write a query string on this, and then it will retrieve the data. So let us run the code and see that how it functions. So when I run the code, you could see that it is asking me for some input. So I will provide anatomy as an input. Now you could see that it will be able to read the data and fetch the data from the MongoDB. So let us jump on to the Azure Studio to see that how the data getting stored in the MongoDB. So now I'm on my MongoDB. You could see that there's a document DB which got created. Then I further press on it. There's a collection. So what I will do is I'll right click on this and I say open database, and I'm able to see a collection over here. I just click on the PDF embedding. Then I click on the run. So here is my file with the embedding data, which you can press on this button to expand it and see the further processing or further the embed data, or else you can just click on the text. You'll see that all the embedding information is being provided over here. So this is how you retrieve and store the data in the MongoDB. So the entire code I will paste it in my LinkedIn profile, so you can go on to my LinkedIn profile to see further information, and in case if you have any questions you can put me in the description box. Thank you guys, see you later.